Well, good morning, everyone. Yeah, and welcome to our Global Health Graduate Student Commencement. My name is Chris Byrer, and I'm the director of the Duke Global Health Institute for 4 years now, and I'm delighted to be welcoming you all to this wonderful day. I'm delighted to see so many families and loved ones supporting our graduates. I know many of you have traveled great distances to be here. Graduates, you want to thank your families? Yeah. I also want to extend a warm welcome to the folks who couldn't be here in person but are joining us online. So there is an online audience. We know you're with us in spirit, sharing your love and support for these remarkable graduates. Today we're honoring 35 graduates, which is, I know, it's wonderful. And this includes 3 who are completing our accelerated master's program for their Duke undergraduate studies, and 1 student who is in our global health pathway for medical residents and fellows. So indeed. You are the 16th cohort of the Duke Global Health Master's program, and you represent a truly global group. Our graduates, this group, hail from more than a dozen countries and collectively speak 22 different languages, which is amazing. And when they arrived on this campus 2 years ago, they brought with them a wide range of skills and experiences. Some of them came to this program with clinical training or previous work in global settings, while others were just beginning to explore this field and their place in it. But from the start, what has united this particular extraordinary group is passion and commitment to making a difference in the world. This shared sense of purpose has allowed the graduates to forge deep connections with each other and with our community. And this is a class that really had each other's back from day one. They studied together, they relaxed together, faced challenges and struggles together, and they overcame obstacles together in what has been a tough several years for our field. And today they graduate together. So first, let me congratulate you, class of 2026, for being such a strong and supportive community on your way to reaching this milestone. Of course, many others helped you arrive at this moment. You've had the guidance and wisdom of our outstanding faculty and staff who have really relished the time to help you along the path. You've had friends and peers who could be there for timely advice or when you needed a break. And you've had the support of family and loved ones who gave you the tools and values to succeed. To everyone in this room and everyone who has been there to help nurture and care for these outstanding young women and men, I want to share my deepest and heartfelt thanks. I know the graduates are enormously grateful to all of you, and I speak here for all of our DGHI faculty and staff when I say we really are grateful as well. It's been an absolute privilege to get to know these students, understand their ambitions and values, and encourage them on the path toward their goals. Graduates, I hope you take a moment today to reflect on everything that you and your classmates have accomplished over these 2 years. It was great to see all of your projects out in the hallway and where you've been and what you've done. You've all completed original research on critical global health issues, from things like cancer to maternal and child health, infectious diseases prevention, mental health, and the health impacts of climate change. Collectively, you've participated in community-engaged research in global partners in 15 countries, including Brazil, Ghana, Iraq, Rwanda, Singapore, and Sudan. You built relationships and trust in new communities, and often across differences in culture and privilege. And you've defended master's projects and presented findings at international conferences. All of these have required you to demonstrate critical thinking, diligence, and resilience that you may not have known you had. And you're critically, I'm sure, will cherish those moments as really the landmark accomplishments that they are. At this time, I know all of you are looking ahead, and given the recent challenges to foreign aid and global health, no doubt many of you are feeling some apprehension about the world you're entering. Over the past 2 years, you all have devoted considerable time and effort to gaining the skills to understand and address questions at the heart of global health and public health. And I'm sure many of you are wondering right now whether the world still wants you to ask those questions and whether or not you'll be able to find the resources and have the opportunities to answer them. I want to assure you and your families, I firmly believe the answer is yes. Not only does the world want you to ask those questions, but the world needs your skills and knowledge to continue to make progress against the many complex challenges that drive disparities and inequalities in health. You've already shown us that you have the talent, the ingenuity, and the passion to help us move beyond the difficulty of this moment. It would be naive to suggest that there won't be enormous challenges ahead in our field, but I do want to remind you that you really are prepared for these challenges. Over the past 2 years, you have no doubt heard your mentors say countless times that no matter how carefully you planned your activities, you have to be ready to adapt. They told you to not be daunted by unexpected delays or changing circumstances, be ready to shift gears and be creative about solving problems. And they cautioned you to wait until if you wait until everything is perfect to act, you might miss opportunities. As you move on to your next adventures, remember that even in the most difficult of circumstances, you will have the opportunity to act. As long as there is inequity in the world around you, there's a place for people who are willing to fight against it. And you've acquired tools to be an agent of that change. And so my challenge to you, class of 2026, is to choose optimism. Don't let negativity discourage you from pushing against seemingly intractable problems, because progress only happens when someone decides progress is possible. Fight the pessimism that wants us to accept the status quo and the best we can achieve. As graduates of the university that produced Paul Farmer, you know it's not true, right? You can envision a different future, a more equitable future, a more just future, and your efforts will help us move toward those brighter days ahead. So on behalf of the DGHI faculty, our staff, the wonderful education team, our global partners who hosted you, and your families and friends, let me congratulate you personally on your graduation. We can't wait to see what you're going to do next. Sat down too soon. Couple of housekeeping items this morning. In a moment, we'll hear from our two speakers this morning. But before I introduce them, let me just say we do have an audience online. So please do silence your phones and devices. Free to take photos, all the photos you want. And please do keep that middle ear clear, the middle aisle, when our students are walking across the stage. We'll be taking professional photos of your graduates and making those available as well. Also, immediately after the ceremony, we'll be taking a class photo. So graduates, please follow the education team outside to the patio where when we're done here, we'll take the photo there. And then families, you're free to enjoy the reception in the atrium, and your graduates will join up with you right after the photo. Now I have the pleasure of introducing our next two speakers who have been invited to reflect on this momentous, wonderful occasion. First, we'll hear from a special guest, Brianna Clark-Schwelm, who is the Executive Director of the North Carolina Global Health Alliance. Whoops. That's all right. Let me just say that again so everybody gets her name. We're going to hear first from Brianna Clark-Schwelm. And Brianna is the Executive Director of the North Carolina Global Health Alliance, and she's been a tremendous advocate for global health education, research, and practice in the Triangle and beyond. And she was just saying to me how much she's enjoyed getting to know and working with some of you. Following Brianna, we'll have our student speaker, Afnan Siddiq. Afnan was nominated by all of you, her fellow class of 2026 graduates, to reflect on this cohort's extraordinary achievements. Brianna, please, the floor is yours.
Just gonna take this out. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, graduates. Congratulations. I'm so incredibly happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I am truly honored to be standing in front of you. This is your commencement from one of the finest programs at one of the finest universities in the entire world. This is a huge achievement. Congratulations. Now, I hold a unique role in North Carolina's global health ecosystem. As the Executive Director of the North Carolina Global Health Alliance, I represent the many varied institutions that make up our state's $32 billion global health sector. I do many things, but ultimately, I steward a very special community made up of professionals and students like you. And I am so delighted that every year this means I get to work with students and faculty from the Duke Global Health Institute. This means one of the things that you may have participated in, you may have come to our conference, you may have presented a poster, you may have volunteered with us or attended our career week, or maybe you were one of only 5 students selected last year from a statewide competition to give a memorized talk on their vision for the future of global health at our Hallmark Fall event last year. We have 2 of those speakers in the room, Brianna Barrett, who's graduating with her Master's of Science today, and Yue Suo, a visiting scholar here at Duke. Nothing gives me greater joy than working with students like you. So standing in front of you right now, having the opportunity to speak to you, it is a real gift and one I do not take for granted. But I will be honest with you, when the Duke Global Health Institute tricked me into speaking today by sending a dear friend they knew I would never say no to, I was a little overwhelmed. This felt like a real honor, and also I questioned what could I say to this group of such accomplished individuals. Because I do know that you are accomplished. I have read your bios. I have read those posters in the hallway. I'm connected with a lot of you on LinkedIn. Your accomplishments are remarkable, and you should be incredibly proud. It's honestly convinced me that at this moment, there is absolutely no way I would even get into this program. Truly. But as I've looked at all your amazing accomplishments and read your studies and seen all of your poster presentations, there's something else that has struck me, something else I've recognized in you. Your travels to Tanzania, Uganda, Honduras, your TA positions, your poster presentations, your prestigious awards, in all of this, I have seen something that you and I share: ambition. Now, to be clear, you are never going to hear me say that ambition is a bad thing. I know it gets a bad rep. that you are about to go out into the world during an unquestionably complex chapter of human history and an equally challenging moment for global health. More than ever, we need your ambition. Do not apologize for it. We need your ambition to do the big things. We need your ambition to eradicate diseases and prevent the next pandemic. We need your ambition to take down HIV and bring antimicrobial resistance to its knees. We need that from you. Like so many of you, my ambition drives me endlessly to want to do and be more. It can be an incredible source of inspiration and determination. And we do need that. We need that from you today. But there is another version of ambition that we need as well. As we sit here today, the future of global health is not clear. Progress on a global scale feels uncertain. But that doesn't mean we can't move forward. It means that progress will only happen if people like you lend their ambition not only to the big, grand goals, but also to the small human ones. This is harder than it sounds, because the same drive that moves you to pursue greatness, it can create blinders. It can trick you into thinking only the big goals are worthwhile, and it can make you believe that there is a right kind of success to aim for. At times, these beliefs have caused me to miss opportunities. I have missed the more subtle moments of possibility and the less glamorous opportunities for meaningful impact. Steeped in a culture of carefully curated online public image and non-stop competitive comparisons, there was a time where my ambition to do good in this world had unwittingly been replaced by an ambition to achieve a certain version of success that other people would see as meaningful and important. After all, what was the point, after graduating from my master's, I think Siri's listening to me. After graduating with my master's in public health, I was convinced that only a name brand employer would do. After all, what was the point of going to a prestigious university like Harvard or Duke if I wasn't going to get a job with a preeminent organization out of it? But I didn't get that fancy job. Honestly, I didn't get a lot of fancy jobs. Looking back today, I feel fortunate that the many job rejections I received during graduate school, though they broke my heart and my ego at the time, they forced me down an unexpected path. One that made me confront my own understanding of success and what it means to be ambitious. In the years that followed, the work I did in rural health and interpersonal violence was not fancy. It was definitely not prestigious. But it was meaningful work that impacted people in my own community, and my hard-won small successes, they sustained me even when no one else was watching. Fast forward to today, and I'm introduced on a public stage more and more often. And every single time, the brief introduction that is read out loud is like a highlights reel of my qualifications edited to fit that same model of success I used to want so badly. If all you knew about me was what was included in that introduction, my job titles, my alma mater, a few carefully selected achievements, you might think I had taken a smooth, straight road straight to today's commencement address. But I'll let you in on a secret. Every single time my introduction is read out loud, about halfway through, I inevitably think to myself, who are they talking about? It doesn't sound like me. All of it is true. Yet my experience of this little career of mine has not felt nearly as grand as those few sentences make it sound. That list of big wins, it smooths the surface of a very textured road that led me to this moment in which I'm speaking to you. It leaves out the truth behind the curtain. The econ class, I basically failed. The time I missed a very important deadline to submit a $1 million grant proposal for my employer. The instant message I accidentally sent to the wrong coworker that was about that coworker. The chapters of unemployment, including 6 months after graduate school. The ups and downs of being a stay-at-home mom and qualifying for Medicaid. The heartache and the insecurity caused by my own comparisons with my peers. But that brief bio, it also leaves out what I now understand to be my most ambitious accomplishments. The night I stayed on a crisis line for hours, speaking with a survivor of domestic violence as she waited for help to arrive as her abuser circled her home. The very first dental clinic to provide the Embara people of Panama with restorative care rather than just extractions, using just one mobile dental unit that I had procured. The midnight decision my husband and I made last year, when everything was suddenly turned on its head, that I would do what I could to lead with courage and stand up for my community. These were not grand moments. These will never make it on LinkedIn. They will never be included in my introduction. But these are the uncelebrated milestones that demanded my unique and unapologetic ambition to do what was necessary. Your ambition is a gift. Use it to pursue your wildest dreams. But know this too. Your ambition is not a finite resource. You do not have to reserve it only for the most impressive achievements or definitions of success written by someone who is not living your life. Be ambitious to do those big, grand things that will be written about and celebrated. And be ambitious to do those little life-changing things that might just prove to be your proudest moments. They will move you forward, and they will move all of us forward. If you can do that, if you can balance both, I guarantee sometime in the near future, you'll hear your bio read from a podium and you'll think to yourself, is that me? Because a summary of your achievements could never do justice to all the small, amazing things you will do along the way. I am so proud to be with you today, and I can't wait to see where your ambitions take you. Congratulations, class of 2026. I'd like to welcome Afnan Siddiq to the stage. I don't know if I can top that, but I'll try. Good morning, everyone. My name is Afnan Siddiq, and I am honored to be standing before all of you today. Before I begin, I would like to tell you a little bit about my outfit today. This is called the Sudanese tobe, and it was worn by teachers, activists, and working women in specific sectors and in specific occasions. This white tobe resembles the resilience and the role of the women of my country, and I hope to embody all the inspiring women who made it possible for me to be here today, all the women who dared to dream. So speaking of dreams, I have a small confession to make.
I have been writing this speech since the summer of 2025, which is long before a call was made and long before Aaron Mason decided to be my campaign manager. Long before I knew I would be standing before all of you today. And as people of my generation would say, I manifested this. And maybe I did. And I realized that over time that manifestation is just another word for faith. Faith in the face of uncertainty, faith in what cannot yet be held, faith in what is not visible yet deeply felt. And that kind of faith is what carried me throughout my journey here. Faith has carried me so many times in this journey to Duke and at DGHI. It carried me through war. It carried me when I received my acceptance. It carried me through immigration lines and airport questions, through homesickness, deadlines, grief, and the quiet moments in which I was not sure that I belonged here at all. And I know that I'm not alone in that experience. Because in one way or another, faith is the quiet thread that runs through all of our stories. Faith in ourselves, faith in our families, faith in the people who sacrifice for us, faith in humanity, faith in the possibility that our work matters. And for me, that faith began long before Duke. I came to Duke all the way from Sudan. And at the beginning of the program, some people could not place where I was from because I'm probably the first Sudanese person they've ever met. But I hope that I'm not the last. I also sat in classrooms where we discussed Sudan as a crisis, a case study, a headline, a conflict, a humanitarian emergency, and so many other names. But there's something important that I learned in those classrooms. When you speak about places like Sudan, or the many other countries suffering from injustice that are more than I can name in one sitting, you're speaking about people. And therefore, you must remember their humanity and yours. You're speaking about families, memories, laughter, grief, kitchens, streets, childhoods, and very rich cultures. You're speaking about those of us who carry those places within us. And that realization changed the way that I see my work. Because it is so easy to get caught up in academia, in the nitty-gritty details, in the p-values and the significance of our results that we forget. That we forget the significance of the work that we're doing and the people that it's impacting. And maybe that is when this journey became very personal for me. Because where you come from is not just geography. It can be language, it can be memory, it can even be pain, it can be resilience or the people who made you. It can be the values you refuse to abandon even when others don't share your vision. And I think many of us will be leaving this program seeing the world a little differently than we did when we entered it. Not only because global health has changed around us, but because we changed within it. The questions became more complicated, the work became more human, and perhaps we became more human too. As a physician, entering this space reminded me that there are still people who deeply care about justice, dignity, and the lives of others. It reminded me that knowledge can still be used in the service of humanity. And one of the most beautiful things about this program is the diversity in how we all approach a common goal, and that is health. We have different stories, we come from different backgrounds and different disciplines and different languages, and you have very different dreams, and yet somehow a shared belief that human life matters. And in that diversity, I found connection. Now, my friends would tell you that I'm not very good at small talk. I have a tendency to ask very difficult questions. Many of you have been victims of that. But that also means that I've had the privilege of learning something precious about many of you. Your why, where you came from, how you see the world, what you hope for, and what you carry quietly. And I can confidently say that I am in awe in each and every one of you. And when I think about this program, I know I'll remember your work, your brilliance and your ideas, but I'll also remember small things. I'll remember Ewan and the jam jar he uses for a coffee cup. I'll remember Lexi's statement t-shirts and Maggie's endless stress balls. Some were cubes. I'll remember Aaron meditating in stairwells. and the many times Amna and I missed the bus. I remember Julia's cracking dad jokes when we should have been doing our biostats work. I remember Alan falling asleep beside me while telling me that humans don't need 8 hours of sleep anyways. I'll remember Yo-Yo's optimism, even when things looked like they were falling apart around her. And so many moments that are forever engraved in my memory. And yet, I know that the past 2 years were not easy for any of us. This past year specifically, many of us moved through uncertainty and exhaustion, and so much of what makes this field what it seemed to stand on fragile ground. And yet, somehow, we moved through it together. Which brings me to something that I struggled with while writing this speech. When I first learned that this speech was about hope, I was like, oh God. I realized how large a task that was, especially now, because I will not insult you or myself by pretending that the world outside of these walls is beautiful or neatly arranged. We live in a time of profound grief and contradiction. There's suffering we can name and suffering we're taught not to name. There are lives loudly mourned and lives met with silence. There are rights debated that should have never been negotiable. There are communities asked to endure the unbearable and call it normal. And in a world like that, it is not easy to hold on to hope. Many of us in this room wrestle deeply with what it means to work in a field like global health in a world like this. We have asked hard questions about our work, our research, our institutions, about justice, about whether care can remain honest in unequal systems. And still, we're here. So I asked myself, what made us stay? And I know some of us thought about leaving. And what gave me hope in the face of it all? And I realized that you did. It is you, the people around me who still believed in the same things that I did. The people that believe that everyone has a right to life, a right to exist, a right to love, a right to health, a right to a home, a community, and a right to a voice. Now, there is a line by Mary Oliver that says, "Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, announcing your place in the family of things." And I carry that line with me because it made me think about what it means for the world to offer itself to one's imagination. What does it mean to imagine a place for yourself before it's given to you? To see possibility before there is proof? To believe that you belong somewhere even before you fully understand where that is? And maybe that is what we have been doing all along. Imagining a world we would like to live in through the work that we do, imagining our place in that world, and slowly through this program and through each other, both creating and stepping into that world we wish to live in. And once you begin to imagine your place, you're also faced with how you choose to show up within it. So as I'm writing this speech, I also thought a great deal about what I should say to you today and what I should not say to you today. And I came to one conclusion. The best thing I can offer this room today is to show up fully as myself authentically and not in fragments but whole. To speak my truth and to not rob myself or you of the chance of allowing you to see me for who I am. To allow my truth to weave the words that I say to you. It is not lost on anyone in this room or in this field that language matters. We all have spent a lot of time, especially over the last year, searching for the right terms, the acceptable ones, the polished ones. But words are never just words. Words carry history, shape policy, words can humanize, and words can erase. Words can comfort, distort, mobilize, and words can also heal. And once you understand that, you begin to understand the weight of what's to come next. You, my dear friends, will soon leave this room and step into others where the decisions made will determine whether someone has access to sanitary pads or whether someone else receives HIV medication or many of the other amazing things that you have strived so hard to work on. So I hope in this next chapter, we choose our words carefully, bravely, and most of all, truthfully. You probably came into this program thinking you would become another researcher in a sea of others, but that is not the case anymore. You're now a researcher, an activist, an advocate for health and for the right to health for all. And that responsibility does not come with certainty. Like many of you, I'm also sitting with uncertainty about what's to come next. No clear map, no guaranteed plan, no neat ending, but I'm holding on to the belief that the world may still hold something beautiful ahead. And I realize now that this too is faith. Over the past few days, I also found myself returning to something my grandfather once told me. He said, "Every time you think you're finished, you are not finished." And I have thought a lot about what he meant by being unfinished. What does it mean to be unfinished? Does it mean that there's still more strength in us, more courage, more tenderness, more purpose waiting quietly beneath fatigue, more life asking to be lived? And maybe that is what this moment is asking of us, to pause, to reflect, and to ask ourselves, what in you is not finished? And what do you lean on when you don't have certainty? Because whatever you lean on in those moments may be the very thing that gives you hope. And whatever in you is not finished is your fuel to keep moving forward. To my classmates, thank you for your brilliance, your compassion, your humor, and your courage. To our faculty and staff, thank you for believing in us, in challenging us, and holding space for our growth. And to everyone graduating today, may we leave here remembering that expertise without humanity is empty. May we resist the temptation to treat people as statistics. May we stay curious. May we stay tender. May we stay brave in a world that often rewards indifference. May we honor where we come from while allowing ourselves to become more. And may we remember that even when we feel finished, life may simply be reminding us that there's still more within us. I'm deeply honored to be graduating from this program alongside all of you at this specific point in life. Congratulations and thank you so much.
Afnan, that was a fabulous speech. Thank you so much for those words. And thank you for everything you brought to the class and to the DJHI community. It has been a privilege to have you here, and to you and your fellow graduates, what you've accomplished over the past 2 years is genuinely so impressive. Congratulations. I'm Joe Egger. I'm DJHI's Director of Academic Programs. Today I have the pleasure, I get the fun job, of presenting the Student and Faculty Awards. With so many outstanding students and professors in this program, it is really challenging to choose just one student and one professor to honor. We are privileged to work in a community of such remarkable individuals. But the two individuals we will honor today are truly exceptional for their talent, effort, and passion for global health. Our first award is the Madeline Bacuzzi Outstanding Graduate Student Award. This award is named in honor of Madeline Bacuzzi, who graduated from our program in 2013 and was unanimously chosen as the most outstanding student that year. Tragically, we lost Maddie to cancer in 2014. But during her lifetime, she exemplified the spirit and dedication this award recognizes. And we are proud to continue to celebrate her legacy by presenting this award in her honor. For this award, we ask our faculty to nominate students who they believe have excelled in the classroom, in collaborative research, and in building the global health community at Duke and beyond. We received many glowing nominations, as you can imagine, and it's clear this class has many outstanding students who are so worthy of this achievement. This year's outstanding student has shown over the past 2 years that health equity is not just a concept that we talk about in classrooms, but a call to action. As a student, she has demonstrated the kind of intellectual ability and engagement that elevates any discussion. And her mentors note that her insights and perspective have not just enhanced the education of her fellow students, but her professors as well. Due to immigration enforcement that prevented many of our international students from traveling outside the US this year, this student was not able to participate in field research for her thesis. Yet she chose to take on a highly demanding and consequential project, using data and secondary sources to map the impact of human mobility on the spread of malaria in the Amazon rainforest. This project was as methodologically ambitious as it was important. One of her mentors commented, adding that this is not the work of a student checking a box. It reflects a researcher who took on a genuinely difficult problem and met it with skill and tenacity. Outside of her classes, this student volunteered with a community health project supporting Hispanic women and children in Greensboro, North Carolina, in a population facing significant health disparities and barriers to care. She showed up because she cares, said one of her professors, noting that the project demonstrated a commitment to health equity that is woven into how she moves through the world. Professors also remarked about this student's kindness and sensitivity, pointing out that she consistently checked in with her classmates and offered support in tough times. As one of her mentors noted, in any cohort, there are students who stand out academically, and there are students who hold the community together. I think this student is rare in that she is both. Her success as a learner, researcher, and a friend and peer speaks to her big heart and her understanding that global health is fundamentally about people. For all of these reasons, we are proud to present this year's Madeline Bacuzzi Outstanding Graduate Student Award to Nazareth Bertrand. Nazareth, please come to the stage to accept the award. Choked up. Okay, now we will present the Global Health Graduate Professor of the Year Award. We are fortunate to have a remarkable group of professors and mentors inspiring students like Naz and her classmates to achieve the great work they do. These professors teach the core courses in the Master of Science curriculum and elective courses across campus. They also serve as research mentors for our students, helping them design and carry out research projects that can involve multiple global partners and complex research methods. Each year, we ask students to put forward nominations to recognize one faculty member who has gone above and beyond to teach, mentor, and support our students. This year's outstanding professor is known as an innovator who consistently adapts courses and lessons to incorporate new technologies and tools. Although he teaches quantitative skills and concepts that can be difficult for students to master, students in his classes say he approaches his teaching with an enthusiasm that makes the material accessible, practical, and fun. Our awardee teaches global health courses focusing on data science, research and design and methods, and artificial intelligence, with the goal of preparing students to apply quantitative tools to real-world problems. Students say he is extraordinarily aware of and responsive to their learning process, and he often adapts assignments or offers extra training when students are struggling with a particular concept. They also appreciate his attention to ethical and societal implications presented by the use of emerging tools such as AI. He has a deep passion for helping students learn and be engaged, noted one nominator. Students also remarked about this professor's investment outside the classroom, noting, for example, that he has brought food to a student who was in the hospital and cheered on another student competing in their first triathlon. In the words of one of his advisees, he was an incredible mentor, acting as a support system and guide. And so I am so pleased to present this year's Global Health Graduate Professor of the Year Award to Dr. Eric Green. Dr. Green, as you know, Dr. Green is Associate Professor of Global Health and DGHI's Director of Undergraduate Studies. Congratulations, Eric. Please come forward for your award. Congratulations to award winners, and thank you for your outstanding contributions to our community. Now it's time to honor our graduates, and so I will ask Lisa Mackeen to come to the stage to begin our recognition ceremony.
Good morning, everyone. I am delighted to be here in this moment of celebration. My name is Lisa McKean. I'm the Deputy Director for Academic Programs, and I have the honor this morning with Dr. Anjali Palmquist, our Director of Graduate Studies, to present our 2026 graduating class. Each of our students will cross the stage as I read their name. As others have mentioned, we do have guests joining us online, so we ask that you please refrain from using the middle aisle, so that our online audience also has a clear view of the stage. We do have a photographer capturing this milestone, and those photos will be shared with graduates in the weeks following the ceremony. So let's begin. Benin Anafi. Benin explored how trust in health systems and structural vulnerability shaped COVID-19 vaccination uptake in Iraq. Her mentor was David Hipgrave. Alan Bakasita. Alan evaluated the use of the infrascanner device for triaging traumatic brain injury in Uganda. His mentor was Alvin Ukachukwu. Brianna Barrett. Brianna investigated cancer healthcare workers' perspective on stigma, mental health, and psychosocial support in northern Tanzania. Her mentor was Brandon Canettle. Nazareth Bertrand Cortez. Nazareth studied human mobility along the northern Peruvian Amazon and its association with malaria vector counts. Her mentor was Mark Jenko. Ewan Bradley. Ewan conducted a scoping review of return to play frameworks in sports and exercise medicine across differential income classifications. His mentor was Charles Maruri. Ishan Barar. Ishan completed a cost-effectiveness analysis of diagnostic strategies for lower respiratory tract infections in Sri Lanka. His mentor was Gayani Tilakaratne. Maggie Conlon. Maggie examined healthcare-seeking preferences in Rwanda through a discrete choice experiment. Her mentor was Osandu Ogbuaji. Chris Darko. Chris carried out a systemic review assessing use cases of pathogen genomics across Asia. His mentor was Ruklanthi de Alwis. Amy Fulton. Amy reviewed the identification and feasibility of minimal data elements for physical function outcomes among patients with traumatic brain injury in Uganda. Her mentor was Kira Bullock. Rosemary Gathinji. Rosemary studied barriers to achieving treatment goals for cardiometabolic disorders among people living with HIV in the southeastern United States. Her mentor was Charles Murray. Trisha Kabuji. Trisha explored associations between chronic pain and suicide mortality among individuals with cancer in the United States. Her mentor was Nosa Osuzawa Peters. Diana Kuru. Diana investigated healthcare providers' knowledge, perceptions, and expectations surrounding a healthier Singapore. Her mentor was Taufik Jorder. Michelle Young. Michelle examined the co-creation of a faith-based model for hypertension care in rural North Carolina. Her mentor was Tazeen Jafar. Elaine Ma. Elaine analyzed ultra-processed food consumption among infants at 12 months of age in the United States. Her mentor was Anjali Palmquist. Lily Marzano. Lily conducted geospatial analysis of air pollution and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons in London. Her mentor was Jim Zhang. Erin Mason. Erin studied neurocognition and functional outcomes among individuals with epilepsy in Uganda. Her mentor was Deborah Koltai. Armani Moore. Armani completed a landscape analysis of youth mental health programs in Singapore. Her mentor was Anne Claire Stona. Julius Mushangi. Julius explored factors contributing to painful vaso-occlusive crises among patients with sickle cell disease in Uganda. His mentor was Carrie Stewart. Daniela Nakanoza. Daniela examined climate-related fragility in relation to maternal and child health in South Sudan. Her mentor was Anjali Palmquist. Lexi Nussbaum. Lexi studied barriers to maternal and child emergency care in Kilimanjaro, Tanzania. Her mentor was Charla Rent. Morgan O'Laughlin. Morgan designed a cost-optimized meal plan for pediatric cancer patients in Tanzania. Her mentor was Christian Schrader. Shuming Khan. Shuming studied how migration to the United States influenced health and education outcomes for Ghanaian families. His mentor was Giovanna Murley. Jules Rahatova. Evaluated frameworks for AI integration in low-resource health settings. Her mentor was Wenhui Mao. Amna Rauf. Amna evaluated anti-tobacco media exposure and cessation behaviors in South Asia. Her mentor was Nosa Osuzawa Peters. Lily Reisberg. Lily conducted a qualitative study on implementing artificial intelligence and antimicrobial stewardship. Her mentor was Lisa Bourget. Jin Sung. Jin analyzed maintenance dynamics in digital health public goods. Her mentor was Amy Finnegan. Afnan Siddiq. Afnan developed a mental health inclusive pediatric traumatic brain injury registry. Her mentor was Alvin Ukachukwu. David Wallace used satellite imagery to detect and segment coal power plant plumes in Ulaanbaatar. Her mentor was Jim Zhang. Xin Wang. Xin mapped Japan's research funding for neglected tropical diseases. Her mentor was Wen Fenggong. Visho examined dermatological and mental health disorders among inmates in Sri Lanka. His mentor was Truls Oskby. Catherine Zazeski. Catherine explored ethical considerations of AI in global health and humanitarian response. Her mentor was Lisa Bourget. This completes our 2026 class. As our students are making their way back to their seats, I'd like to ask everyone to remain seated as our graduates leave the hall today. Once they have exited, please join us in the atrium for a reception, a reminder to the students that we will be taking our class photo immediately following the ceremony. So after you have exited the hall, please continue to follow Emily around to the photo location. Class of 2026, please rise. Congratulations from all of us at the Duke Global Health Institute.
Good.
I learned my lesson and I'm going to just keep it in the binder for the second one. I thought I hate how low it is, but the papers were too chaotic. Could you? Oh no.